Hey everyone, welcome back to What's on My Bookshelf. In today's episode, I'm going to feature 5 books that I think should be adapted to movies or web series and or TV series, surely. Without any further ado, let me start. So the first book that I think should be adapted is the Winter Night Trilogy by Catherine Arden. I don't know if you guys have read it, and if you haven't, my god, you're missing out on so much. The Winter Night Trilogy follows Vasilisa Petronova, and it's set in medieval Russia, and it's inspired by Russian folklore. It's mostly set during the winter time. I wouldn't say fully into winter time, but it's mostly set in that season. And it also features Morozko as her love interest, who's also supposed to be a god of death. They are the star-crossed lovers. I can't imagine how it can be, translated on screen. I'm very confused if it should be a movie or a series, because the Winter Night Trilogy is obviously 3 parts, and every part is so meticulously, so beautifully, so detailedly written that I can't imagine it fitting in a movie as such. But it's so big for a TV series, unless they try to make something like a Game of Thrones, which had like 6-8 seasons. So yeah, I'm not sure in which format it would fit. The images that this book conjures in my mind is just mind-blowing, and to actually see that come alive on screen would be breathtakingly good, and it would make me immensely happy, and I really hope so somebody picks up that to adapt on screen. The second book that I think should be adapted to a movie or web series is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. It's a brilliantly written book with brilliant characters. The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern follows the love story of Celia and Marco. They are supposed to be this star-crossed lovers, and they are young magicians, and not magicians as in like Houdini magicians, but ones with real magical powers. And they too belong to different school of magic, but not like a Harry Potterish kind of magic either. It's very different, and they are supposed to duel with each other, and the problem is the one who wins will live, and the one who loses, well, I guess they will die. I'm not sure, but that's what we understand. I don't want to give any spoilers. And yeah, that's the basic premise of the story. And the starting of this book is the circus arrives without any announcements. It is just there. Well, it was not there yesterday. That's the kind of the first sentence in the book, and that definitely piques your interest for sure. Also, the way the book has been written by the author is so beautiful. It has such lush prose, just like the Winter Night Trilogy, but in a very different sense, like in a love story, like in a very slow burn love story. So I think this will really make for a good web series, because the story is so rich, so not vibrant. It's more like a love story during the era of black and white movies. I think definitely makes for a really rich imagery. So I cannot wait to see this translate on screen. And yeah, that's why I think this would make for a good adaptation as well. Right. The third book that I think should be adapted to a movie or a web series is Home Before Dark by Riley Sager. It's a horror thriller, kind of. Basically a thriller with a lot of supernatural elements into it. And I think it'll definitely make for good web series for sure. I'm sure you'll stay awake at night with each cliffhangers in it. I think it's brilliantly written, one of the best books by Riley Sager, and probably my most favorite of his. Before Dark follows Maggie Holt, and she's the person who has survived living in a haunted house. So it's been 25 years since she came out from that place. She and her parents escaped from that house in the middle of the night, and nobody knows what happened, but because her father wrote a book on their experience for the same, everywhere she goes, everyone asks her how was it living in that house, but for all she knows, she doesn't remember anything that happened there, because it's been so long and she has repressed a lot of her memories. Every chapter in the book stops at a cliffhanger, every chapter, and you are pulled in to read more and more and more. So I can only imagine how it would translate on screen, and it will make for the perfect web series. The descriptions of their experiences in that house, the light turning on every time, and the two eyes that she keeps seeing every night. So those all things would definitely, I think, will make great for for a web series. So I cannot wait to watch it if they do adapt it, and I surely hope so they do. The fourth book that I want to be adapted to a movie or a web series is, I think it'll be probably better as a movie, is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Another beautifully written book, and it takes you into a journey to this Hollywood heroine through the eyes of a journalist. So I think it will translate very well on screen. So I would really love for that to be adapted as a movie. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid is again another drama, and not a book that I would usually read. It's not in my preferences of genres that I read normally. So this book follows Evelyn Hugo, who is a star. She's a Hollywood star in the 60s, 70s, 80s or something, or at least that it is the journey. The timeline of this journey is through 60s to 90s, I believe. The highs and lows of her life, and how she came about marrying 7 men. And the person interviewing her is Monique. She is a journalist in some magazine, I don't remember which one, and she's surprised that Evelyn has asked for her to be interviewed, because she, being such a big star and whose interview is most sought after, it's not somebody like Monique who's low in her experience for sure. So she's surprised that she has been called to be interviewed, and the twist is the reveal that why she has been invited to interview her. But I can definitely see this being adapted to a movie screen. I mean, wouldn't we love to see the life of a movie star who has been really enigmatic, not like today's movie stars, but those in the 80s, 90s, or even before that time period. They were really enigmatic, and that is the quality that has been captured in this book as well. So to see that on screen, translate on screen, would be really beautiful, I think. Especially this book reminds me of Elizabeth Turner, who also had around 7 to 9 husbands or something. So I think it will be pretty good to see this book being turned into a movie for sure. The fifth book that I want to be adapted as a, probably, I'm not sure if it, I think it will be good both the ways, as a web series or a movie, is Wife 22 by Melanie Gideon. I don't know if you guys have read it, and it's not my usual go-to genre. I don't usually read these kind of books, but I suddenly stumbled upon this one during a sale somewhere online, and I really liked the blurb of it, and I thought I should give it a chance. Wife 22 is not a genre that I would normally read. It's like a rom-com drama, mostly drama, but it is pierced with a little rom-com. Wife 22 follows the protagonist, who is a wife and a mother to 3 kids. She is approaching her 40th birthday, I think. It's been so long I read it, but that is what I remember. And her marriage is not working out as much excitedly as she wants it to be, I guess. And there are some things in her life that she's not happy with. So one day she gets an email saying there is a marriage in the 21st century survey going on, and if she would like to participate in it. They'll be sending her questionnaires, and she'll have to fill them out. And then she will have a one-on-one relationship with the researcher of that survey. So she's given the code name Wife 22, and the researcher is called Researcher 101. I can see Rose Byrne, or even Jennifer Aniston for that matter, playing the protagonist role, and Matt Damon or Chris Evans even playing the husband of the protagonist. It's a really feel-good book about a family. If you guys have seen the Homo Sapiens Agenda, that movie, again it was a book adapted to a movie. Somehow these two develop a kind of a online relationship, but again not in a romantic sense, but in a sense that she's able to divulge all her secrets to this person in this form of a survey. and then there is a twist in the end, but it's not a thriller, but it's a fun twist for sure. I can just see this being adapted to the screen, you know. It looks so poignant and a slice of life movie. I think women in their 40s, women who are mothers, would definitely be able to relate to it. It had a very feel-good factor to it, and I think even Wife 22 would make for a really good adaptation as well. So there you have it, my 5 books that I think should be adapted to a movie or a web series. What did you guys think of this? I would love to know about it. And Top 5 Wednesday is definitely going to be a feature on this channel, so I'm hoping to continue making more videos for that. If you have any suggestions, you're free to make a comment below. So that's it, guys. I will see you again in another video. Till then, stay safe. Bye.